All right, guys, today I'm going to show you how to trade gold. Okay, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take your candlestick chart, your indicator chart, what I call your bullcrap chart, okay, and with one click of your mouse, I'm going to show you how to transform your chart to make it look like this. Okay, and then I'm also going to show you how to draw a simple trend line on your gold chart to catch huge potential winners. Let's do it. Alright traders, it's Mark here at DinoTrading.com, the world's #1 resource on learning price action techniques. And in this video on how to trade gold, I can promise you that by the time you're done watching this video, you are going to learn a strategy on how to trade gold that I think is probably the most powerful strategy that I've ever come across. But of course, before we get into the details, before we get into the charts, the first thing we got to do, guys, is we got to cover the basics. All right, so let's get into it here. When you decide to trade a commodity like gold, okay, because that's what gold is. It's a commodity like oil, like nat gas, like soybeans. Gold is probably the most famous, all right, of all the commodities. The first thing you have to do is decide which asset class of gold you want to trade. Makes sense? So for all you futures traders out there, okay, if you want to trade gold, the futures version, then this is your symbol, right? Symbol GC. Now for all you Forex traders, and I know there's a lot of Forex traders out there. In fact, as you know, Forex is probably the most popular market in the world. If you do like Forex and Forex is your game, then guess what? They have a gold version of Forex. Here's the symbol right there. As many of you know, it's XAUUSD. And of course, for all you stock traders out there, all right, they've got a stock version of gold for you to trade. GLD is the symbol. Okay, so like I said, the first decision you have to make is decide which asset class you want to trade. Chances are, if you're watching this video, then you already have a preference, right? A lot of you guys like trading futures, a lot of you guys trading Forex, and of course, a lot of you guys like trading stocks. It does not make any difference which of these asset classes you decide to select, okay? But that is certainly step one. Now let's talk about the math. Okay, when it comes to gold, how do you figure out your P&L? How do you figure out the profit potential with gold? Well, guys, it is really simple. Okay, now I'm going to run this example using gold futures, but if you're following along with Forex or stocks, it should be somewhat similar. Okay, so with trading gold, all right, typically one tick, which is one increment of price movement in the gold market, represents $10. Okay, and what you should be concerned about is how much movement is there on a daily basis, what they call the daily range. Okay, so as you can see here, this comes directly from the CBOE's Gold Volatility Index. The daily range, approximately, okay, of gold is 100 to 200 ticks, and that's pretty significant, guys. All right, I like to look for markets that have a really nice, wide, large daily range, right? Because that tells me the market is going to present itself with a lot of trading opportunities. Whereas if I trade a quieter market like maybe nat gas or soybeans or something else, I don't know if you get too much volatility, which also means for me, I don't know if there's enough opportunity there, right? Which is why I think the gold trading market is probably one of the better markets out there to trade, okay? And of course, once you figured out the daily range in ticks or price increments, then you can also figure out the profit or loss potential, okay? So this is the math, guys. It's really simple math, all right? This is how much gold swings on one contract every single day, all right? Between $1,000 to $2,000 per day, profit or loss. Remember that. A lot of guys here on YouTube, they just like to talk about profits. Don't forget, yes, you can make a lot of money trading gold, right? Simple math will tell you that, but you also have to be mindful of your risk, because when you get good at managing your risk, okay, the profits will automatically come and flow into your account. Okay, so now that you know the basics, and before we look at some charts now, let me just recap for you what you need to know and what you need to master before you decide to trade gold, right? Recap number one, you have to decide which asset class you are most comfortable with, right? Number two, you got to figure out the math, right? If you don't figure out the math and you don't know what the daily range is in your market, then you're doing yourself a great disservice, right? Because when you figure out the math, then you know the potential that that particular market offers you when it comes to your trading. Make sense? All right, perfect. So now, guys, let us go ahead and look at some gold charts. Okay, so what you see on the screen right now, guys, is a typical candlestick chart, which you've heard me refer to numerous times as the bullcrap chart, the indicator chart, the garbage chart, right? These candlesticks and these indicators, you know, they don't make any sense at all. But here's the reality, what I call the sad reality, okay? And that is that 95% of you guys out there are using these type of charts to execute trades and make your decisions, okay? Now, I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you right now. Can you honestly tell me, from looking at this chart, what does a buy signal look like? What does a sell signal look like, right? You can't, because this is a pile of you-know-what, right? And unfortunately, those 95% of losing traders, this is why they don't make any money, right? So when it comes to trading gold, the first thing that I want to do is I want to transform the chart display. And with one click of my mouse, I'm going to take this chart right here and I'm going to make it look like this, okay? Where the price action is nice and clean and organized. It doesn't look messy and cluttered like this, right? Because when it comes to my technical analysis, guys, right, I want to be able to look at a chart and within 1 second, I want to know what's going on in the market, right? Don't show me stuff that looks like this. I'm not interested, right? I only want to see nice, clean, organized price action. Now, moment of truth, guys. Let's talk about the strategy on how to trade gold, all right? This is a really interesting technique that I think does a great job of organizing risk to reward parameters for me, right? For example, if I risk 10 bucks, I want to make 100, okay? If I risk 100 bucks, I want to make 1,000, so on and so on. That's my personal risk to reward metric. I'm sure everybody has their own, but that's what I personally feel is a good metric of risk to reward. Make sense? So to do that, I've come up with a very simple trend line strategy that's going to execute trades for you, okay, on your behalf, while implementing tight stops, again, on your behalf, all right? And in fact, if you look at this strategy that's on the screen right now, you can even see the name of the strategy mentions trend lines in the strategy name. Make sense, guys? And of course, all of these are customized by the user. For example, you can see here, guys, in the input, right? This is the strategy input right here that I'm showing you. If you trade futures, you can select the number of contracts you want the strategy to trade. If you trade stocks, simply put in the number of shares you want the strategy to trade, right? You can also do some other cool things, guys. You can set your profit targets, okay? Right here, this is the second box. You can set your own stop distance, which is how aggressive or how conservative you want your stop to be, right? We talked about risk to reward parameters. The stop, of course, is very important. Okay, so now that you understand the nature of how and why you should be using a clean price action type of chart, and also now that you understand the simple parameters of a gold trading strategy, which again I think is very simple but very powerful, then let's see how everything comes together and how this strategy takes a trade on gold.
Order submitted. Order filled.
And we're back. Okay, guys, let me just explain to you what you saw happen on your screen on this chart of gold. First, let me just clean up some of these markers. All right, how you do that is you just say do not plot. Okay, hit OK. It'll remove out the text. So let's just zoom in, guys. All right, let's just zoom in while we keep these open orders here. Okay. The first thing that you saw print on the chart, guys, is that number one, the strategy connected 2 pivot points for you via a straight line. Okay, when I say pivot points, these are simply blue dots of statistical significance in your chart. All right, when you get 2 dots, you just connect them with a line, and that's how you get this trend line here. Now, what you're waiting for is you are waiting for that trend line to break to the upside, which happened right over here. Okay? Now, when that happens, what you're going to see is that not only does a trade get filled, meaning that this strategy will actually buy the market for you, it will also place a stop loss right here, which, you know, if you just want to rewind the video for a few minutes, you'll see that happen. It'll place a stop loss for you. It will also place a break-even target for you. Okay? So it knows the mathematical distance between your entry and your stop, and it takes that distance, adds it to the fill, and that's how you get your break even. And again, all you have to do is just rewind this a few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and you'll see the second target actually got hit here. So when gold printed over here, okay, this was a free trade for us, man, right? It was great that it ran for a pretty big winner here, but you know, it could have just as easily gone the other way. And if it did, we would not have lost any money, right? So that's kind of what I always preach, guys. You have to be mindful of your risk first, okay? Because what did I say at the start of this video? What I said was, when you get good at managing your risk, okay, the profit potential, the money in the market is made, right, on these big moves while you have properly managed your risk. Make sense? And good luck trying to figure it out on this type of chart, okay, the chart that 95% of those losing traders are using, right? You'll never be able to figure out pivot points. You'll never be able to figure out trend lines. You'll never be able to figure out stops and targets. Nothing. There's a reason why I call this the BS chart, the garbage chart, right? Because having the right chart display, having the right graphical chart output, guys, I'm telling you, to me, this makes all the difference in the world. All right. If you'd like to learn more about how this works, guys, get in touch. I'm happy to hook you up with the free one-on-one demo. Okay, go ahead and click the link in the description right below this video, and someone will be in touch. Do me a personal favor and like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel for more useful content, and I'll see you on the next video.